Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today, I bring you the story of Tien and Jack, a story where emotions that once seemed to have settled after many turbulent days are stirred once again by unexpected events. The story opens in a peaceful setting, a gentle afternoon passing by in the small, familiar home of Tien and Jack, where every corner carries a sense of warmth and connection. The late sunlight filters through the leaves, casting soft light onto the garden behind the house, where Tien is carefully tending to the flowers she has spent so much time nurturing. Her hands gently touch each petal, her eyes focused yet filled with a rare sense of calm. For her, moments like these are not just about caring for plants, but also a way to keep her soul at peace, to temporarily forget the things that once weighed heavily on her. Inside the small kitchen, Jack is preparing a meal. His movements are steady, unhurried, as if he too is savoring this simple moment. The aroma of food spreads through the space, blending with the quiet of the afternoon, creating a warmth that is hard to put into words. It is a simple kind of happiness, unassuming, not showy, yet enough to bring comfort. That space, that moment, feels like a pause that both Tien and Jack deeply cherish after everything they have been through. It is not only peace on the outside, but also balance within, a sense that life is finally beginning to settle again. But just as everything seems to be returning to calm, the unexpected arrival of Tien changes it all. He comes without warning, his face heavy, his eyes unable to hide the tension within. The moment Tien sees him, a sense of unease passes through her, as if she already knows that what he brings is not ordinary news. And when Tien finally speaks, the atmosphere freezes. What he says strikes Tien like a sudden blow. The news of an elderly man who has just passed away, and what makes it even more devastating are the details that match, almost too precisely, the father she has lost contact with for so many years. In that moment, time seems to stop. Tien stands frozen, her eyes wide, unable to believe what she has just heard. The shock quickly turns into a surge of pain that she can barely contain. Her legs weaken, her whole body seems to lose its balance. Tears fall uncontrollably, carrying with them despair, panic, and all the unspoken regrets she has held inside. It is not just the pain of possibly losing a loved one, but also the deep regret of everything left undone. The years without contact, the words never said, the responsibilities never fulfilled, all of it rushes back at once, tightening around her heart. In that moment, Jack does not hesitate. He quickly steps forward and holds Tien in his arms, grounding her amidst the storm of emotions. His presence is not only physical support, but also a powerful reassurance, keeping her from completely breaking down. He does not say much, but every action, every gentle hold, shows his care and determination to stay by her side. Without letting the uncertainty drag on, Jack makes a decision. He will take Tien to the hospital to confirm the truth. Because only by facing it directly can they know what is really happening. It is not an easy choice, but it is necessary. On the way there, the atmosphere grows heavier than ever. Tien sits beside him, her gaze distant, her mind overwhelmed with tangled thoughts. Fear creeps into every breath, mixed with regret and guilt. She does not know what awaits her, and that uncertainty only deepens her anxiety. But Jack remains there. His hand tightly holding hers, as if silently assuring her that she is not alone. He continues to comfort her, not allowing her to fall too deeply into negative thoughts. For him, no matter what the outcome is, the most important thing is that they face it together, and overcome it together. The car continues moving forward, carrying two people with different emotional states, yet united by the same purpose. And from that very moment, the journey ahead is no longer just about uncovering the truth. It becomes a journey of facing the deepest parts of their hearts, where every emotion becomes clearer than ever, opening the way for events that no one can predict. At the hospital, a cold atmosphere enveloped everything, making each step Tien took feel heavier than ever. The stark white walls, the pale lights, and the suffocating silence only intensified the fear rising uncontrollably within her. Every step forward felt like moving closer to a truth she both longed to know and feared to face. Her hands trembled slightly, her breathing quickened. She was almost unable to steady herself, yet she kept moving forward, because deep down, she knew that if she stopped now, she might never get the answer. Beside her, Jack remained there, quiet but steady. His hand firmly held hers, as if giving her strength, reminding her that she was not alone in this difficult moment. When the door opened, the sight before her was exactly what she had feared the entire way. In just one instant, all her emotions broke loose. Tien could no longer hold herself together. She collapsed emotionally, tears streaming uncontrollably. The pain tightened around her chest, making it almost impossible to breathe. But then, through the tears and panic, she realized something. The person lying there was not her father. In that moment, everything reversed completely. From the depths of despair, she was suddenly pulled back. A wave of relief surged through her so strongly that her knees nearly gave out. It felt like escaping a nightmare, a long, haunting fear that suddenly disappeared. Tears still fell, but they were no longer just from pain, they carried release, a sense of being saved from the worst outcome she had imagined. Jack, standing beside her, also let out a quiet breath of relief. He gently squeezed her hand, his eyes softening, unable to hide the comfort of knowing that the worst had not happened. He didn't say much, but his presence alone was enough to help her slowly regain composure. But that relief did not last long. When Tien and Jack looked to the other side, where the real family of the deceased stood, a different emotion began to rise. Poor, exhausted faces, marked with grief, stood silently confronting a loss that could never be replaced. Soft sobs, reddened eyes, everything created a scene that would move anyone. Tien fell silent. Her relief slowly gave way to deep empathy. She realized that for her, this had been a nightmare that had just passed, but for them, it was a real loss, something irreversible. Without saying much, Jack glanced toward them, his expression growing heavier. He quietly stepped forward and discreetly offered financial help to support the funeral. It was not for show, not to be noticed, just a simple act born from genuine compassion. He understood that in moments like this, even the smallest help could mean something. Tien followed, softly offering her condolences. Her voice trembled, not from fear, but from emotion. In that moment, she was no longer thinking about herself, but deeply feeling the pain of those standing before her. As they left the hospital, the outside world still seemed to carry the heaviness of what had just happened. Even though she knew her father was not the one who had passed away, Tien did not feel completely relieved. Instead, a new worry began to take shape. She wondered, if not this time, then where was her father? Was he somewhere out there, alone, sick, without her knowing? Those thoughts weighed heavily on her heart. A quiet guilt began to rise, and she could no longer suppress her emotions. When she returned home, the familiar surroundings no longer felt comforting. Instead, there was emptiness, her mind filled with endless, circling thoughts. And then, she broke down in tears. These tears were no longer panic, but a lingering pain, a nameless anxiety. Tien felt as though she had missed too much, that somewhere, her father might still be waiting, but she didn't know how to find him. Once again, Jack was there for her. He gently held her, letting her lean against him, letting her release everything she had been holding inside. He didn't need grand words, just simple ones, enough to steady her heart. He promised that he would help her find her father, no matter how difficult the road ahead might be, no matter where it might lead. It was not just a promise, it was reassurance that she would not face this journey alone. The story closes in a quiet moment, not as an ending, but as the beginning of a new path. Jack's presence beside Tien becomes a strong, irreplaceable support. Though the road ahead is still uncertain, filled with challenges, with hope and love as their foundation, they will move forward together, step by step, on the journey to find her missing father, believing that one day, everything will finally come to light. The story closes in a quiet, emotional pause, as everything that has just happened lingers in the hearts of Tien and Jack like an unforgettable mark. From overwhelming fear to a burst of relief, and then to lingering worries and regrets, it all feels like a short journey, yet enough to make the human heart more sensitive and profound. Although the truth has been revealed, although the worst pain did not happen, what remains is not an ending, but a new beginning. In Tien's heart, the image of her father still exists as an emptiness that cannot yet be filled. She understands that the journey ahead will not be easy, but from this very moment, she now has a stronger reason to keep moving forward, to not give up. By her side, Jack remains quietly steady, like an unchanging anchor. Without grand promises, through his presence and actions alone, he has proven that no matter what lies ahead, he will walk through it all with her. And perhaps, that is the greatest meaning of this story, when a person no longer has to face hardships alone, when there is always someone willing to hold their hand and walk with them through every challenge. The journey to find her father still lies ahead. The mysteries remain unsolved, and the challenges are still waiting. But with faith, with hope, and with love as their foundation, Tien and Jack will not stop. Stay tuned for the next episodes to see where this journey will lead them, and whether what they are hoping for will finally come true. If this story has touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the upcoming episodes, and leave a like to support me.
Xin chào mọi người đã quay trở lại với kênh của mình. Nay thì mình tiếp tục đưa đến video về câu chuyện của Lý Tử Tiên và Giác như mọi người. Như mọi người cũng đã biết thì ở trên kênh của mình thì bữa nay mình đang làm một nội dung mới là về câu chuyện của Tử Tiên và Giác, và mình hy vọng rằng mọi người sẽ yêu quý và ủng hộ cho kênh của mình nhiều hơn. Thì trước đó mình cũng có từng làm một kênh về nội dung của Tử Tiên và Giác, nhưng mà do một số vấn đề nên là kênh mình bên đấy đang tạm dừng và mình chuyển đổi sang làm kênh này. Cảm ơn mọi người rất nhiều vì đã theo dõi video. Hẹn gặp lại mọi người trong những video tiếp theo nhé. Bye bye. Bây giờ thì mình sẽ hoàn thành các bước cuối cùng, sau đó mình sẽ đăng tải lên nha. Bye bye.